You're watching the GameSpot co-op stage, sponsored by LEGO Star Wars: The Force Awakens.
Greetings and salutations, welcome back to GameSpot's E3 stage. But we're kind of funny. Kind of. There's a little bit of a mixture here, a little bit of an amalgamation. I'm Colin Moriarty, I'm joined by Tim from Kind of Funny as well, my comrade, as well as Chris Waters from GameSpot. Guys, thank you for joining us. But the man of the hour, of course, Aaron Greenberg from Microsoft. Let's give him a round of applause. Give him a round of applause. Now, Aaron, before we get into it, many congratulations on what I thought was an extremely strong conference yesterday. You guys firing on all cylinders, software, hardware, first party, third party. So congratulations on that.
Well, thank you. You know, we do a lot of work on the show and many months preparing, and then we sort of cross our fingers and hope everything technically works, every demo, every video, and then we wait and see what folks like you guys have to say about it. So,
what were you able to, you guys crunched a lot in there. I mean, there's 2 hardware announcements technically. Yes. Just to get, I guess, the big one out of the way, Scorpio, can you tell us anything about this? I mean, we know it's coming late 2017. It's going to be the new iteration of Xbox One or Xbox. Is this exciting internally? Are you guys stoked about it?
Incredibly exciting. I mean, I've been on Xbox since we launched the original console, and it feels in many ways we're getting back to like the core of what Xbox and the brand started with, was being about power, being about building incredible games that we love, investing in Xbox Live. And for me, you know, to be able to unveil a new console is a very special thing. You'd only sort of get to do that, you know, once in a few years. Be able to do 2 consoles in one briefing, maybe something we never see again.
Right.
So, yeah, to open the briefing with the Xbox One S and then to close it with Scorpio was, I think, somewhat historic. And so I think we'll look back as this will be a really special E3 for us. The response has been great. You know, the thinking for us was, I mean, maybe a little bit non-traditional, say, hey, we're launching Xbox One S this holiday, a lot of great updates and features here, but why would we announce Project Scorpio now? But we want our developers to be, you know, aware and be prepared for what's coming.
Right.
And as we sort of thought deliberately about what's that next step change in hardware performance, to be able to bring true 4K games to the living room, to the console, is sort of that idea. And we know that requires a massive upgrade in power and performance. And so that's why we're bringing a console that can do 6 teraflops, that can also do high fidelity VR. And you know, a lot of those experiences do exist today on the PC for people that are spending thousands of dollars on gear. But to bring that to the console market is something we're really excited about. And so we're sharing that now, but you know, still quite a bit of work on the games and experiences between now and then.
Awesome. Yeah, I thought the messaging was super on point with all that stuff. Like the whole conference as a whole, I feel like over the last couple of years, Microsoft specifically has gotten really good about trimming the fat out of the conference and really just kind of coming out, and the pace is just perfect. It's just hit, here's announcement, here's demo, here's trailer, here's hardware and all this stuff. And I think that you did a really good job of kind of going through all that stuff and building the excitement. But I also think that the Scorpio thing as the one more moment was really powerful, because we've heard rumors, right? There's been leaks, there's been this, there's been that, about both the S and the Scorpio. But to see both of them at this press conference, I think is a really strong message, especially with the Beyond Generations thing that you guys are pushing, where it's like, look, this is the plan. If you're planning on buying an Xbox, you can consider all of this stuff. You can get one right now, you can get the S if you want the slim version in a couple months, or if you want to wait, you can get the more powerful one because it is coming. And I think that's a really good message to put out there.
Yeah, we were really thoughtful about it, and you're right, you know, we are gamers, so we watch briefings, we watch our own briefing back, and we kind of put it through the lens of what would our fans and customers want to see, and we know, you know, it's more show than tell, it's try to be transparent about what we're doing, and so we're really thoughtful about that, so I'm glad that resonated. We had a lot of news, and so, but I think, you know, both to be able to say, listen, it's not just about bringing a smaller box, but there's actually going to be benefits for customers. We know a lot of people are buying 4K TVs today. There is a purpose and a reason why we're doing Xbox One S, to be able to give, you know, 4K video streaming, to be able to give support 4K Blu-ray, which, you know, people are spending $400 plus on 4K Blu-ray players, starting at $299. We've got a great value for you if you're in the market just for that.
Yeah.
Before you get to games. HDR gaming, if you've seen games in HDR, it looks incredible, and I know a lot of the new 4K TVs are supporting HDR, so really there's a lot of great functionality there and a lot of great benefits. But then as gaming goes, you're right, you hit on that point, which is it's not about creating a new generation for us, and that's kind of the history. It's about what if we could actually create a world where there are no longer console generations? What if we could actually let you play the games you already own and give you more value and allow you to play those across multiple devices? As gamers, we know we don't always just sit in our living room and play on our console. What if we could save the games in the cloud and allow you to keep playing no matter what device you're on? And what if all your accessories worked? And it's like, that was the vision. And we just dreamed it up, and then we're like, well, let's go make this happen.
I think the accessories thing is a very underlooked at mention there at the press conference, because it's like, that's huge, like even when you look at like things like phones, it's so frustrating when they change the accessories and you have to buy a whole new suite of stuff. So being able to like look forward to the future and know what's coming and still be able to use the things you have is really good.
Yeah, and that was really deliberate. So we know people are buying games today, they're buying accessories today. The new Xbox One S, for example, has a new controller, very, very similar in design to the existing controller, which we know people love, but we added Bluetooth to that, for example. So as part of that, now that controller, I can go to work, to school, on the road, and it will pair and work with my Windows 10 PC. And those games that I have in my digital collection now also will play there, our titles as part of this new Xbox Play Anywhere program. So that's the idea. It was started as a vision. You've heard Phil Spencer talk a lot about putting the gamer at the center of our strategy, and it sort of sounds great to say that, but then like, what do we actually do to prove that? And so I think you're seeing a little bit of the proof of that vision, and it's a long vision that we're continuously innovating, continually going to be focused on this, and hopefully people are seeing a bit of that payoff this year.
And one of the things that's sort of part of that vision, you've talked about people buying 4K TVs, buying these sort of the next generation of that technology. Have you given some thought about how, okay, you can tell people that the Xbox systems are compatible with and thrive in this environment, but then they also have to have the TV to get it. How are you guys sort of thinking about how do we convince people it's worth it to go 4K, to get that extra HDR processing and stuff like that?
Sure. Well, first, we still have a lot of people today that own an Xbox 360, tens of millions that have not upgraded to Xbox One yet. So if they were waiting for that moment in time, there's never been a better time to do that. You get a console that is 40% smaller, the power brick integrated. You want to lay it horizontal, you want to stack it up vertically, you can do that as well. So, and then we say, listen, we know whether you have a 4K TV or not, it's 4K ready for you. So when you do upgrade to that 4K TV, it's there. It will upscale your content to 4K, whether it's native or not. And then all the 4K video, 4K Blu-ray, and if you have a 4K TV that supports HDR, we're making our games like Gears of War, like Forza, like Scalebound, support HDR as well, so you get that benefit. Whether you're ready for it now or you're investing, people own consoles for years, you know that it's future-proof.
Are you rocking the 4K in your household currently?
I'm not 4K yet.
Not yet?
So I'm 4K at work, so I'm sort of like, I get the experiences of work, where, but I'm thinking about doing it this holiday.
Can you break down the HDR thing for me? Like, what does that, I know what that means in photography, but what exactly does that mean when it comes to TVs and consoles?
A lot of people are like, yeah, as a photographer, I know what it means, but in game, well, first off, we have people that we work with, and I've sat down with these guys. You guys know Albert Pinello on our team. He could talk to you for an hour about HDR alone. This is and I've talked to him and I've seen the games. As a common consumer, this is the way I kind of think about it. So it's high dynamic range. It will, your whites, your blacks, the colors, the vibrancy just looks better. And so, for example, there's a scene in Gears of War 4 where you go up and look at the moon. We've done side-by-side with HDR on and HDR off. You can tell the shine of the moon, the color of the moon, the brightness of the moon looks significantly better when you have that HDR on. Now, if you never saw it, you go like, wow, this game looks beautiful, the moon looks beautiful. But for people that care and notice, there is a level of difference. And so, I'd suggest perhaps going to the internet and reading more and getting a super deep dive, because you can spend like an hour going into the benefits of HDR. A lot of the new 4K TVs support that. And so we really wanted to offer kind of the cutting edge of that technology this holiday and at a great price.
We were talking about Xbox One S. Should we show? I mean, as opposed to tell?
Yes, thank you. Well, you should work on our team. Well, I do have one. This is our new, first you might notice even the box is smaller, the actual packaging. I think the team did a great job with this. I will, and this will be my first ever. I wanted to do this.
To a kind of funny unboxing of the Xbox One S.
Kind of funny exclusive here. So I'm gonna open it this way so you guys can see on the camera, you can kind of see what's going on here.
There you go.
So
he's done this before.
This is packaging, all the kind of free goodies we give you. I don't know. Maybe there's
space for a potential pack-in game situation.
No comment. No comment. But we build this with flexibility in mind. And then, I'll tell you personally as a gamer, the thing I love the most about this is that I want to be really gentle with this thing. is that you could actually put this in your laptop or messenger bag. So you'll see the team is calling Robot White. So it's a unique white. You can see all the ports on the back. I'm showing it to you, and I got to realize we'll probably be a little more courteous to the viewers at home. You get a sense of all the different ports we have here on the back.
Here it comes.
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
In on ports.
So HDMI in and out. You can see multiple USBs. You got your Ethernet port,
Some optical.
power, etc. A couple things that we heard from fans that were really important to them was that they wanted to be able to do their binding of their controllers. You want to rebind your controller, you put that right here on the front.
Right on the front.
And also has the power button, which does light up. And then of course, with size, you can also stack it if you prefer that. So I'll set this thing here right now.
So the big question is it coming in black?
It is coming in Robot White.
Robot White.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So we're moving from we're going from the darkness to the light. We've gone to the light. We were on the dark side. We've now seen the light. We're moving from the dark side. You know, listen, we wanted to do something different, make it stand out.
I'm a fan of the matte.
Yeah, I like the matte, and I just think, you know, the designers can talk a lot about the molding and some of the really unique things they've done that's never been done before. But you can take, I mean, this thing gets, you know, reasonably portable. So, pretty incredible.
It is it seems way even smaller than you guys are saying it is. Can I see, Tim, can you add?
Yeah.
So you remember last year you brought us the Elite controller, which is awesome.
Yes.
And this year you brought us this, so maybe next year we get Scorpio. But it is super, it's super
I only
sleek and
unveil
super
hardware on kind of fun.
Yeah,
kind
we
of
appreciate
a
it.
deal we have. And then you'll see the new controller looks very similar.
Yeah.
That's people were wondering if the controller is included. It's included.
Speaking of controllers, I thought one of the coolest announcements was actually the customization of the controllers that you guys are doing internally, which I think is really a really remarkably good idea. Almost so obvious that I don't understand why no one was doing it.
Well, so many people have asked about it. A lot of people are doing a lot of, you know, things aftermarket and all that. So we sort of said, hey, what if we could let you go to our website, go in and like customize every, you know, what about you want to change the color of the buttons, or you want to change the colors of the D-pad, or put your favorite school team, your favorite game, like whatever it may be. So you can order those. It's Xbox Design Lab. There's 8 million different options, and it just takes 6 to 8 weeks, and they ship it directly to you.
It's really, I think it's a really cool idea.
Yeah.
I remember when we were on. That's definitely one of my takeaways.
I'm a big sneakerhead. I'm a big Nike ID fan.
Yeah.
I love the customization. I think that's just the world we live in. And like we've never been able to offer that for gamers. And so to be able to do that with the controller,
very cool
I think it's great. You can put your gamer tag, whatever.
I gotta confess, I was a little bit, you know, I got a controller, I feel fine with this. But then I went on the website and started clicking through all the colors. Like you have a really nice visualization, sort of, you can go through every step, you can go back and tweak the sticks, the buttons, the whole thing.
Yeah.
I did that for about 30 minutes, and I had a blast. It was like, it really does sort of change that feel of the controller and make it feel a little bit more, I don't know, personal.
Exactly, and that's the idea. You can go in there and customize. You don't have to order one right away. You can save it. The other nice thing is if you already have an Xbox One and you're like, hey, I don't need the Xbox One S, you can still go through the Design Lab, get this new controller. So you want Bluetooth, you want the ability to be able to go from your PC to your console back and forth. Go ahead and order a customized one, get the one you want, and you get the latest controller as part of that.
And the most important thing is that they have Kind of Funny Blue as an option.
That was mandatory. I said we're not doing this unless the Kind of Funny Blue.
I heard you threatened to resign if they didn't do it.
It was ugly. It was on YouTube. We took it down. It was a rough.
I'm very happy about that.
All right, so we've talked a lot about hardware, very important.
Yeah.
Software, you guys showed a lot of games. Obviously, Gears 4 looks fantastic.
Yeah.
You guys revealed Dead Rising. I mean, you're wearing your Dead Rising gear right now. You got your Dead Rising kicks on. You got your Dead Rising
kicks on.
So there was some
nice Jordans, by the way.
Yeah,
thank you.
His Jordan game is strong.
Yeah.
There was some confusion, although it's been cleared up since then, that the way it was pitched at the conference sounded like it wasn't an exclusive. But you guys are publishing it. It is Xbox One and PC exclusive.
Yeah, we're publishing the game. You know, just think very similar to kind of the range that we did on Dead Rising 3.
Right.
You know, we found with previous titles that we published that using the E word can be very controversial with people, so we don't want to mislead. You know how the internet works today. We just want to say, listen, we're publishing this game. We're excited to help make this game happen in partnership with Capcom Vancouver. We're publishing it, bringing it to Xbox One and Windows 10. I'm personally really excited to get back to Willamette, have Frank come back. You know, I think it is not a remastered. We got some questions about that too. It is a completely brand new Dead Rising. It's coming this holiday. So that's one of our big titles we're excited about. Other big titles that we're bringing from first-party exclusive, starting with Recore, coming in September. That'll actually be our first Xbox Play Anywhere title in partnership with Inafune-san and Armature, who folks know are the creators of Metroid Prime.
Yeah. $40.
$40, yes. So the idea there is, want to create a whole new IP, want to create something new, an action-adventure game, the unique style of games that they have a history of building. Great characters. I think I've even got Mac, who's one of the core bots here. And we wanted people, we know when you don't know a franchise, you don't know an IP, how do we actually make it, we don't want to have any barriers for people to be able to go and purchase the game. So we decided to do something a little non-traditional, launch it at $40, just again, over-deliver on value for our fans on that. Then we go later in September right into Forza Horizon 3, which takes us down under, and I mean, all the unique terrain that you get with that. Again, also coming to Xbox One and Windows 10. Gears of War 4, probably gonna be our biggest game of the year.
Yeah, can't wait. I can't wait.
Whole new saga. I think people have heard Rod Ferguson talk a lot about that. We've been up spending a lot of time with the team at Coalition, so we're really, really excited about that as well. And then, not far after that, we get into things like Halo Wars 2 in February, and then we just keep kind of cranking as we go through. Sea of Thieves is coming out on that window, Scalebound, a lot more titles. So we think we have, this is our biggest games lineup we've ever had over the next year. As a first party, we will publish and release more games and more exclusives than we ever have. So we're kind of hitting that sweet spot in the generation where the content is just coming and coming really strong.
Yeah, I think with Recore specifically, you had mentioned it, I think you had explored the $40 price point with Rare Replay last year, right? That was
yes.
And I think that you guys, it's clever, I think, and smart to do that. The middle ground, the space between, like the $20 game and the $60 game, well, I think the $40 game is the place, and Sony had recently did it with Ratchet, but I think that Rare Replay was really the first example since the so-called budget game that everyone kind of disparaged back in the day, and so I think it's a good place to be. So I'm excited to play Recore. As everyone knows, Inafune is like my dude, so.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that it is a place that we try to do that. We've been both with Rare Replay and the Gears Ultimate Edition, but Rare Replay being a brand new game in that case. So yeah, we had a lot of success with it. The title did very well for us, and we're hoping to see the same for Recore.
Cool.
Another key point you guys hit on was some improvements to Xbox Live,
yes.
And that's sort of, for the past decade and a half of Xbox, that's always been an ongoing battle for you guys. It's to push the boundaries of that and make it a more social, more accessible, more user-friendly system. Looking for a group is something I'm particularly excited about, especially playing Overwatch. I always want to go in there with some people on my side.
Yeah, so I think people know the magic of Xbox Live is playing with your friends, having a group of friends you love to play with, and different friends like to play different types of games. So the two things to really focus on, one is bringing clubs to Xbox Live to be able to create those groups of friends, but then how do I actually find people who have similar interests? And that's the whole idea with looking for group. And we've seen other games like Destiny, and you talk about benefits for Overwatch, and so we think it'll be really popular with the community. We have a massive community, obviously, on Xbox Live, and so we're excited to bring those later this fall. And then we also announced Xbox Arena, some of the platform investments we're doing around esports and competitive gaming. You've seen things like Halo and the World Championships there. We've done a lot of esports around Gears. We have some programs going with Forza, KI. Competitive gaming is now booming, and obviously we're participating in that on our titles, but how can we also bring a lot of that so that it works across the platform, so that tournament operators and our partners like EA, what they talked about doing with FIFA, can also take advantage of that as well. So just deeper integration, I think it's going to be a good thing and make it easier for Xbox players.
With Arena, is that something that it's predominantly, for tournament operators, people who are sort of in the business of attracting esports talent and trying to sort of broadcast that out, or could a GameSpot or Kind of Funny say, hey, let's get our invitational going this weekend in Rocket League, do an organization themselves within arenas?
Yeah, so the vision is definitely that's where we want to go. We want to be able to be able to create your own tournaments, to do all that. But sort of the start of that is that first we want to be able to build it, because right now we want to simplify that process. So when we did Halo World Championships, for example, we worked with ESL, we worked with MLG, we worked with Gfinity, depending on which market. So we had 4 or 5 different tournament operators. You had to go to their website, their rules, sign up, it made this competitive gaming experience way too complicated. If you could do it right from your dashboard, sign up, track your tournaments, how are you performing. There's a lot of online ladders and things that kind of go up to the bigger, higher stakes rounds. And so how can we build that infrastructure in, integrate in tournament operators, allow our studios and our third-party partners to participate? So that's kind of where we're starting, but we're obviously going to be building on that so that everyone can can create their own tournaments and their own competitive. Kind of funny. I don't know who's kind of the king of the castle within your crew here, but.
I'm gonna give it to Colin.
Yeah, maybe.
Right, by default.
Okay. All right.
Thank you. Right answer, Tim.
Okay, fair enough.
So the ID at Xbox is always one of my favorite things during the press conference. And again, this year we got to see Cuphead again.
Yes.
Got to see a whole bunch of other stuff. We Stardew Valley running on consoles. And then we got to see We Happy Few. We Happy Few.
Oh my God, that game was
was a
fantastic.
jewel that we found and was, gosh, that may be my favorite thing. We knew a lot of people didn't have this game on their radar. We knew it was something really special. Kind of reminded a lot of us, back to kind of maybe like an indie version of like where BioShock started back in the day. And so they're bringing that to Game Preview in July. We're really excited to be working with Compulsion on that. It's a super innovative title. I watched that demo and like literally was one of the few demos where like it comes to an end and you're just like, please, please, please keep going. I want to see what happens next.
Yeah,
the moment that pinata went squish, the first time they hit it, I was like, oh no, that's not right.
This ain't good.
This is not gonna go well.
Those are the guys that did Contrast, right? Is that the same team?
I don't know exactly what their background was, but I know that the title is being built so that the levels are procedurally generated. And the fit and finish there is actually pretty tight for a game that's going into preview. And the gameplay is incredible.
Yeah,
so.
I'm getting serious Ken Levine vibes from that game, which is always good.
Exactly. And then of course we have Inside, which is coming first to Xbox One, which I know people are really excited about. A number of folks on our team have actually played through it and are saying it's so far one of their top games of the year.
Yeah, you guys are real sort of vague in the sort of showing during ID at Xbox.
Yeah,
but
where's
the people that
my
I've
Cuphead
heard,
release date?
Cuphead's coming this year, and everyone wants Cuphead. The brothers are staying back home from the show this year to continue to work on the game, but it's been great. I mean, I think what we're seeing is that we have the ID program is getting to a point where we have hundreds of developers. We're now selling millions and millions of those games in the store for these largely very small kind of development studios. Gamers are responding, a lot of great value in these games. So these are really unique style games and genres, and so Inside, Cuphead, We Happy Few, just a few examples. As Ark is an example too. We've seen it's already sold over 1 million units on Xbox One, just through Game Preview, and then being able to announce that's also a title that we're bringing to Windows 10 as an Xbox Play Anywhere title. We Happy Few, another example of a Play Anywhere title. So another, just being able to integrate that and all these great indie games into some of the same ecosystem benefits that we're doing on the first party, I think it's going to be good for our fans.
Yeah, I think your heritage, like especially with indie games and Xbox Live, I think is well established. So I feel like this is your space that you guys kind of thrive in. I think that's kind of an understated part of what Xbox has always been about. At least since Xbox 360, obviously the original Xbox One, as I like to call it, was a little different, but with Xbox Live obviously pioneering that. My question for you, one of the things I think is fascinating that you guys are doing, and your competitor is doing it as well, is exploring first party but using partners, even publishers and studios other publishers actually own. So I was actually really fascinated with Halo Wars 2 and Creative Assembly, which is a Sega studio, making an Xbox game and a PC game. How do you guys kind of identify, Capcom Vancouver, the same with Dead Rising, so how do you guys identify these different partners to work with within the ecosystem of your coalitions and your 343s?
Yeah, well, I mean, first, what we know is that while we own some great studios and have some great internal teams, some of the greatest game developers in the world want to be independent, they are independent, and so the ability to go out and to work with them and to hear their pitches and to talk to them about what they could create for us on our platforms. And so it just basically becomes an extension of our internal studio talent. And so to be able to go to Platinum and have them be able to make a title exclusively for us with Scalebound, or the work we did with Remedy on Quantum Break, or even titles that aren't that big, what we did with Moon on Ori, and so there's a big opportunity there. We'll continue. We see that as a really important part of our first party business, where we are working with those top developers and publishers. And then when you get to Halo, for example, Creative Assembly, that was more a case of we just won't make Halo Wars 2 until we can get the right developer.
Right.
And so we know they are best in class at making RTS, and we know a lot of fans of the Total War franchise, and so to be able to have them now working in the Halo universe, building what they're doing with Halo Wars 2, I've been playing it, it is incredibly fun.
Yeah.
We launched the beta this week, so people at home can actually play the multiplayer beta this week, get a taste of it, and then we'll have that game ready for them in February.
Yeah, I always found that deal especially interesting, of Microsoft having to go to another publisher and then be like, your developer will make a game exclusive for us. I'm like, that's so fascinating. That must have been a little more complicated than your usual deal, but I think it's super complex.
What a lot of people don't realize too is even when we make internal games, there'll still be parts. There could be a multiplayer map or certain game mode or things where we do bring in smaller or other external developers to help with some of it's just the tonnage of how much needs to get done. Sometimes you don't see that, but we actually take the whole game and go out to them. Yeah, maybe it's a little non-traditional, but ultimately we think it's the right decision because, when you're going to make an RTS in the Halo universe, do we want to do that internally as a team that's specializing in making FPSs, or do we want to go give it to the masters of making an RTS game? And so to be able to work with them is a great honor.
And I think, by the way, just shout out to that trailer, which I thought was awesome. I love the way it ended. Especially with it was very, very cool.
Such a great way to visualize the drama of an RTS.
Yeah.
Yes.
The calm of the commander with the chaos of what's going on Battlefield.
How do you kind of portray the story? We know that often, with more of the top-down view, you don't see as much of the action. How do you kind of, explain the back and forth and the kind of the knowing your enemy, this sort of strategic, kind of approach to the game? And yeah, we worked with Blur on the trailer, who's sort of best in class at that.
Yeah, nobody does it better these days.
Yeah, and we, when the team said, yeah, we've got Blur signed up for this, we were kind of watching it get better and better through all the reviews. Yeah, that was probably the most beautiful trailer we'll have this year. But hopefully, I'm glad people enjoyed it.
Cool. Technically first party now, I guess Mojang with Minecraft appeared. How important is that studio to what you guys do now? Because that game, 100 million plus copies sold, is extraordinary in an industry where a AAA game selling 5 million is considered very, very good. So,
Minecraft's an incredible franchise, for us, and I was really fortunate to get to work with the team as we went through that acquisition a couple years ago. I think first it is this game that's universally popular. Young, old, male, female, console gamer, PC gamer, mobile gamer, and so we've been really working to continue to bring updates, working closely, letting Mojang run as an independent studio, which is what they're great at. We have a development team that's working in close partnership with them in Redmond as well. I think you've seen being able to do things like add VR, bringing that to Gear VR and Oculus. Rift is a great example of that. We brought it to the Nintendo Wii this year, and so being able to work with them. And the game and franchise continues to do really well. We have the friendly update right now out. As part of that, we're bringing multiplayer with Xbox Live now on iOS and Android and Windows 10. You can now play multiplayer across devices, which you could never do before. It's always, what device, what platform or ecosystem am I playing Minecraft on? Well, if you're on Android or you're on your PC or you're on iOS, you can now all play together. And then with Realms, you have this sort of, you can actually save your worlds in this safe, secure place where you can share and save your worlds from Minecraft across all these devices as well. So whether you're playing multiplayer or you want to share a world and have someone else create it, come back, yeah, so we're continuing to innovate there, and we'll be bringing a lot of those innovations to the console in the next year as well.
Awesome. Cool. Well, Aaron, thank you so much for joining us today. Give our very best to the team. Congratulations on a great conference. I hope the rest of the evening
will do.
Well
Thank you guys.
Thank you, man.
All right. Stay tuned to GameSpot or Kind of Funny or both. Doesn't matter. We'll see you later. Bye.